Hi, I'm Jeffrey. I'm a licensed therapist and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll go over the challenging process of rewiring your brain. In order to be able to rewire your brain, I first want you to understand how your thoughts work. To explain this concept, I will use the analogy of a nightclub. In this analogy, there are three main participants. The first participants consist of the people who are trying to get into the nightclub. The second participant is the bouncer. This is the person who lets people in or keeps them out from entering the nightclub. And the third group of participants are the people who are already in the nightclub. I want you to think of your automatic thoughts as the people who are trying to get into the nightclub. Then the bouncer or the gatekeeper is the person who lets in or keeps out those automatic thoughts from entering the nightclub. And the people who are already in the club, or the thoughts that have been let in, that is the current wiring of the brain. In this scenario, the participant that is in your control is the bouncer. Now, your current wiring of your brain is essentially the thoughts that have already been let in. These thoughts can have a certain charge between positive, neutral, or negative. Now, let's say that your brain is composed of, let's say, 80% negatively charged thoughts. What will happen is that the next group of automatic thoughts will be around 80% negative. Kind of like when people are in the club and then they invite people that are similar to them to the club. This is why it's so difficult to change thinking patterns, because one has to be so mindful and conscious of our thoughts. So, how do we change the wiring of our brain? Well, we cannot control the thoughts that are trying to get in, but we can control the bouncer. This means that you want to be able to check people's IDs. Relating to thoughts, the way that you would check their IDs is by asking whether the thought is 100% true and whether it's useful. If a thought is not 100% accurate and it is not useful, the bouncer has the ability to block it off. For that thought to get in, it would need to be reframed. Same way for trying to let in a positive thought. If a positive thought is too positive to the point that it's not believable, the bouncer is simply going to block it off. And when the bouncer blocks it off, then it does not change the wiring of the brain. That's why toxic positivity doesn't work. Therefore, to change the wiring of our brain, we gotta let in realistically useful thoughts. Eventually, you change the wiring of your brain by taking in believable and useful thoughts and by being able to block thoughts that are not completely true or that are not useful. To do this, you have to be really mindful of your thoughts, analyze them, scrutinize them, reframe them. When you have a thought, ask yourself, is this thought 100% true? Is this thought useful to me? If not, how can I reframe this thought so that it's 100% true and useful? Practicing this regularly will strengthen the bouncer, and the bouncer will become more efficient over time at checking people's IDs, meaning our brain will let in more realistically useful thoughts with less conscious effort. Once you start doing this, slowly but surely, you will start changing the wiring of your brain. Instead of a brain that is, say, 80% depressed and anxious, you will be able to rewire your brain to, say, a brain that is 25% depressed, 50% neutral, 25% positive. When you change the wiring of your brain, this will make it much easier because the new automatic thoughts that you will have will be more optimistic in nature. So you won't have to be in a constant battle against your negative thoughts. This process takes time, so make sure to be working on this process with a licensed therapist. That's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share it with someone who might find this video useful. And for more content like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and see you in the next one.